I'm really just sad about the fact that I've been using 24-70s and 18-35s for so many years.
Hey, I'm Eric. I'm a freelance video creator based in Boston, Mass. I shoot, edit, animate, composite, etc., and I talk about it on this YouTube channel. I'll start off by covering my current C70 lens lineup, and then I'll compare those primes to some popular zoom options. So this journey for me all started when I first purchased a 50mm 1.4 Sigma art lens. I loved that prime lens so much, I bought another one, the 24mm 1.4 art, and then the 85. So now I have the trio, 24, 50, 85. And of course, these are all full frame lenses, which means they can be adapted with the 0.71 speed booster, which means I also have a 17, 36, and whatever the 85 turns into. Here's a side-by-side comparison of my new Sigma 50 versus the Tamron 24-70 at a similar focal length. The Tamron here is at 2.8. and the Sigma is at 1.4. To me, that really makes all the difference in the world. Like this shot right here, this is the 24, and there's some serious separation between my computer and myself. This shot would look very different if I was shooting at a 2.8. I can show you what a 2.8 would look like. This is 2.8. I guess it looks fine, but let's go back to the f1. I think f1 looks a lot better. I first purchased my 18-35 1.8 before shooting a band on tour for a month to make a documentary series, and probably like 75% of the time I was on the road, I was using this 18-35 because it was a 1.8 and my 24-70 was a 2.8. And now in retrospect, I'm really kicking myself because I could have spent the same amount of money and had a 24mm 1.4. I may have sacrificed a few shots where I needed to be super wide at 18 for, but the truth is the majority of my shots just would have looked better with more depth of field, and I would have been happier with them if I purchased the prime from the start. I purchased this 3-lens kit over the course of a few months, all of which were used, and it ended up totaling about the same as one high-quality RF zoom.
I shoot a lot of interviews, typically 2 camera setups. Being able to have enough depth of field where not even the entire face of someone is in focus. You can see this ear is kind of blurry. My eyes should be what's in focus. You know, everyone uses the term cinematic, but it is cinematic to have separation and fall off within a character's face. Depth of field in close-ups is great, but more importantly, these lenses give you depth of field with wide shots. I've been talking these lenses up a lot, but let's see how they actually compare to my old zooms.
So I'm starting out with probably my favorite of these 3 primes, the 24mm. Now I'm speed boosting the 24mm to be at f1. There's some good separation from the background. And if I switch to the 18-35, which is a crop sensor lens, so I have to use the regular EF to RF adapter, and you can clearly see how sharp everything in the background is. Let's do a side-by-side, and I don't think I really need to point out how different an f1.8 is from an f1. Now I switched to a different zoom, the 24-70, and I put this at 70. The 24-70 is a full frame lens, so I am able to take advantage of the 0.71 adapter, unlike the Sigma 18-35. But still, if we compare it to the f1 I can get on the 85mm, there is a major difference. Not as dramatic as the wide shots, but it definitely creates more depth.
Now, some people probably wouldn't be happy with the Sigma art lenses because they're too clean and sharp. They might want something grungier with more character. But I like these for me because I shoot a lot of corporate video, and nothing about these lenses is gonna get in my way. The autofocus works well. When I want a nice clean sharp image, I get a nice clean sharp image. And if I wanna dirty it up, I can always do that with filters or play with it in post. Just for fun, let's make this shot in DaVinci grungy with some film grain and some blooming highlights, a grade, some flares or something.
But to be honest, I don't really mess with my footage in DaVinci like that. Not that long ago, I put out a YouTube video about shooting music videos with the C70, and in that behind the scenes, I forgot to mention, we shot everything with a 1/4 black Pro Mist filter. You can see me here auditioning it on and off to see what it does to our backlights, and I decided to go with it. If anyone out there has any other creative filter recommendations of weird things that they use that they're big fans of, please let me know in the comments, because that's something I haven't really fooled too much around with, and I would like to get more into. I used to tell myself that for run-and-gun situations, you just need zooms, but the truth is that's really not the case. The more experience I've had, the more I've realized that I come away from a shoot feeling much more satisfied with my footage if I shot everything on 1 or maybe 2 primes versus even bringing 3 different zooms if none of the zooms are below a 2.8. Fewer great shots is better in my opinion than more mediocre shots.